Here's something that almost nobody talks about, honestly. A man can be deeply, completely, irrevocably in love with a woman and genuinely not know it yet. Not because he's emotionally unavailable, not because he doesn't pay attention, but because real love, the kind that changes a person, often arrives so gradually, so quietly, so woven into the fabric of ordinary days that the person feeling it doesn't always recognize it for what it is until something forces them to look directly at it. And in the meantime, while he's still figuring out what he's feeling, the signs are already there, visible to everyone who knows where to look, including you. Today, I'm giving you 6 signs that he is more in love with you than he even realizes himself. And sign number 4 is the one that surprises women most, because it doesn't look like love at all until you understand what it actually means. Before we get into the signs, one thing worth understanding. Men and women often arrive at the awareness of love through completely different routes. Women tend to feel it first and name it relatively quickly. Men tend to feel it first, sometimes intensely, and then spend a significant amount of time living inside the feeling before they identify what it actually is. This is not a flaw. It is not emotional unavailability. It is simply a different processing style. And while he is in the middle of that process, feeling something enormous without yet having the word for it, his behavior tells the story his mouth hasn't caught up to yet. Sign 1. He remembers things you never expected him to remember. Small things. Things you mentioned once in passing, without any expectation that they would be retained. The name of your childhood cat, the specific way you take your coffee, something you said weeks ago about a difficult situation you were dealing with, and he brings it up later, not because he was trying to impress you, but because it stayed with him. When a man is deeply invested in someone, his brain automatically prioritizes information about that person. It stores details that would otherwise fade because they've been tagged as significant. He doesn't choose to remember these things. His mind holds on to them because you have become important to him at a level that operates below conscious decision. Every time he recalls something small about you, something you barely remember mentioning, he is showing you the size of the space you occupy in his inner world. He just doesn't realize yet that's what it means. Sign 2. Your moods affect him in ways that catch him off guard. Watch this one carefully because it's subtle, but unmistakable. When you are happy, genuinely, freely happy, something lifts in him. His energy changes. He becomes more animated, more open, more himself. And when something is wrong with you, even when you haven't said a word about it, something in him registers the shift before his mind has processed it. He might not say, "You seem off today," in those exact words. He might just get quieter, or check in differently, or find a reason to stay close without being able to explain why. This is emotional attunement, the involuntary synchronization that develops between two people when genuine attachment forms. It doesn't happen with people we're casually interested in. It happens when someone has gotten under our skin deeply enough that their emotional state begins to influence our own without our permission. He is not performing concern. His nervous system is responding to yours, and that kind of response cannot be faked or manufactured. It simply exists in people who are further into love than they've admitted to themselves. Sign 3. He finds reasons to bring you into his future. Not grand declarations, small things. There's a restaurant that opened downtown. You'd love it. Next summer when you should meet my friend, I think you two would get along. These are not throwaway comments. They are the language of a mind that has already, without making a formal decision about it, started including you in what comes next. He is picturing a future, and you are in it, naturally, easily, without him having to force the image. People do not casually include someone in their imagined future. The future is precious territory. We reserve it for people who matter. And when a man starts populating his upcoming months and years with your presence before he's even said the words, he has already made a choice he hasn't yet named. Sign 4. He becomes protective in ways he can't fully explain. This is the one that surprises most women, because protection doesn't always look like romance. Sometimes it looks like irritation. He doesn't like how someone spoke to you. He gets unusually quiet when another man pays you attention. He says something sharp about a person in your life who isn't treating you the way he thinks you deserve to be treated. And then when you look at him, he can't fully explain where that came from. What came from is love. Specifically, the territorial, instinctive, completely involuntary kind that arrives when someone has become genuinely yours, even if neither of you has said it in those words yet. A man who is casually interested in a woman does not feel this. Casual interest does not produce protective instinct, that specific flavor of protectiveness, the one that catches him off guard as much as it catches you, belongs exclusively to feelings that have moved well past casual. He may not identify it as love when it happens. He'll call it something else if asked. But you'll see it in his face for a half second before he recalibrates, and that half second is the truth. Sign 5. He is more himself around you than around almost anyone else. Think about this carefully. Does he drop the performance around you? Does he laugh differently, more easily, more genuinely than he does in most situations? Does he say things to you that he probably doesn't say to most people? Does the careful, managed version of himself that he presents to the world relax into something more real when it's just the two of you? That relaxation is not casual. It is trust made visible, and trust of that specific kind, the trust that allows someone to stop managing how they appear and simply exist, does not form quickly or easily in most men. It forms when someone has spent enough time making them feel safe, when someone has consistently responded to the real version of them, the unpolished, unperformed version, without using it against them or making them regret it. If he is more himself with you than anywhere else, you have become a safe place for him, and men do not fall in love with danger. They fall in love with safety, with the specific person who makes them feel like being real is not a risk. Sign 6. He shows up without being asked, especially when it costs him something. This last sign is the clearest one, and it requires no interpretation. When a man shows up for you, not because it's convenient, not because it required no sacrifice, but when showing up meant rearranging something, giving something up, choosing you over a simpler option, that is not friendship. That is not politeness. That is not casual interest doing an impression of something deeper. That is love in action before love has been spoken. The words "I love you" are easy compared to consistently choosing someone when it isn't easy. And a man who keeps choosing you, keeps showing up, keeps prioritizing, keeps making you feel like you matter even when life is making it complicated to show you that, has already made the most important declaration. He just hasn't wrapped it in the traditional language yet. Pay less attention to what he says. Pay very close attention to what he keeps doing. The doing is always the truth. 6 signs. And if you recognized him in more than 2 or 3 of them, if you found yourself nodding at specific moments that are now making more sense than they did before you pressed play, then something important has just clarified. He is not unaware of you. He is not indifferent. He is not holding back because what he feels is small. He is holding back because what he feels is larger than he has words for yet. And the signs have been there the entire time in the things he remembers, in how your moods move him, in the protective flash that crosses his face when someone doesn't treat you right. He is further into this than he realizes, and now so are you. Drop A in the comments if one of these 6 made something click for you to die, or tell me which sign hit closest. I genuinely love reading what lands for the women who find this channel. If Heart Whisper is giving you clarity on something you've been carrying, please subscribe and turn on the bell. Every week I'm here with messages like this one, honest, specific, rooted in real psychology about the way love actually works between real people. The next video is already coming, and it goes somewhere I think you're going to want to follow. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you there.